So the topic of the next panel discussion is Revolutionizing Education, Immersive Technologies and Entrepreneurship. And I would like to invite on stage Dr. Nandita Seth. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Director, Masters Union. Mr. Raghunandan Aman, please come on stage. Can we have a round of applause? Director and Global Head, WFM GlowTouch Technologies. And Dr. Sumit Narula, please come on stage, sir. Director, School of Communications, Amity University, Gurugram.
Right, thank you everybody, and hope to that you have enjoyed your tea, and we are also very excited that you are here, and the discussion would be very, very immersive, as the name of the session is Immersive Technology. Yeah, you can change the background to immersive. This is the next session. We are running a bit late, so we are on Revolutionizing Education, Immersive Technologies and Entrepreneurship. And I'm very happy that both the panelists are here with me. Thank you for joining us, and thank you the organizers for giving us the opportunity. So we know a lot about immersive technology, and immersive technology has become the part of our lives. Everybody at the moment is also immersed in their cell phone, doing some work, watching reels, doing some kind of time pass. So it has become a really, really important part of our life, the immersive technologies. And to discuss that, understand that, there are people with us who are totally into it, dedicated towards it, and will give us the right information, which is the need of the hour. So to cut the discussion short, I will be asking the first question to ma'am. Ma'am, what is the future of immersive technology, and how do you see that immersive technology can engage us, and where do you see that India should march ahead in this area?
Thank you so much for the question. I think, so when we speak about immersive technologies in the context of education, we are primarily looking at a lot of LLM models. You know, we've been talking a lot about ChatGPT, we've been talking about Gemini, we've been talking about Sora, and you know, all of these technologies. And at the same time, I think we shouldn't negate the VR, AR sort of technologies. With Apple coming up with Vision Pro, I think that is also going to be a very, very imperative feature of education system in India. So if I go in sort of explain to this in the audience in two ways, I myself teach undergraduate and MBA students in different B schools across the country. And for example, I let my students use ChatGPT in the classroom, which is something that is not very well accepted by a lot of faculties at this stage. My goal is to not let students think of education in a very assembly line manner, where they are just coming to the class, learning up things and then reproducing those things. I think especially in business education, which is where I am, it's extremely important for students to develop a thought process. It's very important for students to develop a critical thinking mindset, first order thinking mindset. And in order to do that, once you're at your workplace, nobody is going to stop you from using internet. A lot of coders
but
right now.
Coming back to the usage of ChatGPT, do you think that it is immersive, it is engaging them more, or because there is a lot of negativity about using of the AI generated content. Mm-hmm. So whenever we publish a research paper now, they're asking for that whether we have used any
Correct.
generative AI. So we have to give the statement whether we have used it or not, and if we have used it, we have read it again.
Correct.
Because it gives you the synonyms.
Absolutely.
And it changes the meaning of it.
I totally agree with you, sir, because research, for that perspective, the purpose of research is to generate new information. It's to generate knowledge. It's to improve what we already know in the body of literature, in the body of knowledge, right? Whereas that's not what we are trying to teach in an MBA school. We are trying to teach them how to solve problems on a daily basis when they join the industry, right? In order to do that, if there is some form of information that can come in very quickly, very handy, why should they not utilize this? For example, let's say I'm doing a case study in the classroom, and in that case study, they're supposed to come up with a go-to-market strategy, right? Within, let's say, they want to launch in UAE, they want to come up with a go-to-market strategy for a new product. If they can use ChatGPT to learn very quickly about what the market scenario is in UAE, what are the similar kind of products that exist, and then use this information to actually come up with a solution within that 2 hours of the classroom, which otherwise would have taken me 10 days to give them that assignment where they would have gone to the internet, done the research, then brought it to class. I think using ChatGPT as an assistant for you to do the very fundamental basic research is good.
We will conclude that the ChatGPT should remain our assistant. It should not set into our minds, and we should not leave our writing skills, and we should use ChatGPT and the other generative AI methods as our assistant only. They just cannot take over us. Coming back to Sir, the immersion technologies and the immersive technology we have discussed that it has given us a lot of impetus and a lot of discussion is there. What is the difference between traditional, because traditional teaching and traditional studies are also very, very important, and how are now they different, and do you prefer traditional over immersive, or what is your take on that?
I think that's a great question, and me being an odd man out within this crowd, because I was speaking the same with Nandini and Sumit, that I am from the corporate world.
So we need the corporate viewpoint also.
Right. So
you are not the odd man out.
Yeah. In last 15 years of my corporate experience, what I feel, right, in education we need to add the dimensions. Now, as he clearly asked or told, how a traditional approach versus the so-called AI, what we keep seeing, how can it change in the education system, right? So now, also being in a corporate world, I do a freelancing teaching at multiple universities and colleges. So I can feel that what students actually needs, because they're interacting with the live corporate people rather than, and I'm not saying that the teaching community is not upskilled. They are, but we get to see what's happening on day-to-day life, right? So what I feel is we need to add that dimension for the students where they get to understand on day-to-day basis in their curriculum what's happening on the real life, right? Because the syllabus what universities and colleges have will not get reversed or revamped. It gets revamped maybe 10 years, 15 years once, right? But if you try to have that corporate touch, and I know most of the companies, colleges and universities are doing that. Like I was speaking with one ma'am there, so she told that they have been in touch with, or they have an MOU signed with EY, TCS and all. But can we do that on a day-to-day basis rather than having a internship program or a project with the colleges that the student will get a corporate experience just for a period of 1 week or 2 months or 3 months maximum, right? So that's what I feel, that we need to have that immersive touch, the dimension, rather than the regular traditional approach that we are doing, so that the students will get enhanced quickly and they can adapt to the real market rather than going on to the textbook side.
So do you think that the companies really want the students who are only into immersive and don't know anything about traditional?
No, I'm not saying that.
So the point is that immersive is a subset of the main education system in India, but that's not the only thing that students have to learn nowadays. Ma'am, you want?
Can I add to? So I think what you mentioned right now, right? It's a part of the overall education system. I don't even believe it's a part of the overall education system. I think it's a tool, right? So it's a tool that enables us to get better education. The traditional foundational concepts in any domain remain the very same, right? I think AI is what internet was to our generation. It took us a little time to kind of adapt to it and come to it, but we all needed to do that, and it only helped us, it only helped education system.
But giving younger generation better. Only the AI, will it serve the purpose?
No, absolutely not. Only AI can only serve the purpose if AI becomes so sentient that it starts to emote, it starts to learn what are the social skills that are required, it starts to learn, as quote unquote, I was very aligned with the panel that was happening before us, which said, don't call it soft skills, these are core skills. So AI is still not up to date there, it's not sentient yet, and it's going to take years, and it's going to probably never be sentient, and therefore teachers in the classroom will always be needed, core principles will always remain the same, right? And I think AI is just going to be a tool.
So how much use of technology is there in your office? And when you hire people, so do you look in their CV that they are into the softwares or they are into this immersive and all? So do we look for that?
Yeah, see, now, if I were to speak about the WFM, that is my expertise, right? The domain which is called workforce management, right? So now, 10 years ago, I think nobody in this room knows about WFM or workforce management. Have you guys heard this? Yeah? How many of you guys-
some knowledge is there, ma'am.
Yeah,
She has just
I
said.
saw.
Some knowledge is there,
But
yeah.
how many
today,
of you
today
guys-
it will be enhanced too also.
So how many of you guys know HR?
So this is a synonym of HR, you can say.
Right. So yeah, workforce management has been, come out from the HR side, and we
HR.
started, incorporating that. Now, if I were to hire a person from your college, right? Say I'm coming for campus placement,
Yeah.
right? What skill set I'm looking?
Yeah, I'm talking that should be it the subset or the main thing that we have learned.
The immersive side?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the person or a student has to have a basic knowledge of all.
Yes.
I'm not saying the deep dive.
Yeah.
Right? But a basic knowledge would definitely help me so that I can upskill after taking that person into my team.
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm looking. And then, madam told that, AI, it's not completely there, but it is there, and we need to utilize to what level that it has to be utilized.
Right.
We cannot just go out of it, right? We need to have that AI, like chat GPT, right? So I keep telling my team members, now the way we write emails, right? So, and then someone told in the last session that's sympathy and empathy, right? It is there all over the world.
Yes.
Not only in the corporate or education, you go any small shops, right? So for a customer and a vendor, that should be there, right? So I tell my team members, use ChatGPT to rephrase your emails that is going out. And the change that I have seen, it's drastic.
No, there is a question mark on that. When we meet the students, we teach them, and we know a lot of students, but we know that they cannot write good English. And suddenly a letter or a cover letter comes to us with a very good English. As a teacher, we tend to know that it has been written by ChatGPT or some other software. So how do you manage that? Because you might have in your WFM some of the good candidates in English skills, but once they face the interview or once they join the office, they're not up to the mark. Because they have used a lot of immersive technologies and a lot of the other things, and traditionally they haven't done much. So how do you manage that? Because some of their skills are killed because of the most of the use of the AI.
So here the basic traditional approach I'm looking from a student is whether he can speak, not
Yeah,
speak
that-
well,
yeah, speak.
not speak well, speak sophisticated English. Speak English is what I look, right? And how grammatically he can write.
Correct, yes.
Right? There might be some mistakes over a period of time that can be enhanced, right? And I'm not saying use ChatGPT to cheat someone, right? Use
No, they're not
ChatGPT
cheating.
to-
They're not
to
cheating.
rephrase.
Usually they don't know that it is unethical because the rules are not there at the moment. So everybody's using it. So the rules might come in the later stage. But yes, they're using it fanatically. They're using it a lot.
Correct.
And that is why they're killing their writing skills. Because we have seen that many a times.
I think a fundamental question to ask is if the job that you're applying for does require you to have that skill or not, right? If communication is a very, very important primal need for a particular job, you're going to be a consultant, you're going to work in marketing, you definitely need to be really good at communications. But if that is not required, if you're going to be a back-end coder and you use ChatGPT to write your cover letter, I think that's a-okay.
Then it is
That's
fine,
acceptable
yeah.
because
So
you're going to be
it
coding.
varies from job profile to job profile.
Absolutely,
The usage
it
can be
varies.
given.
It's absolutely, and as you said, right, you're now supposed to basically outrightly state that I have used ChatGPT for a particular thing. So as long as you are using this mindfully, and as long as you're using this, as I said, as your assistant, I think there's not a lot of
There's not a
lot of problem.
Right, right.
And I say this for everything but academic writing. I am still on the fence about whether ChatGPT should be used for academic writing or not. I don't
Academic is
think.
altogether different.
Yeah.
And,
Altogether.
and one more thing just to add, how it can
Sir,
also
excuse me.
damage.
Sir, can you just... They are engrossed immersively. इनको याद जरा. Yeah. Sir, thank you.
So what I would say, right? So I'm not saying that just use ChatGPT because that's the talk of the town. So you need to again proofread that, right?
Yeah,
As you keep
yes.
proofreading, you will improve your skill sets in writing, right? One day you can use it, second day, third day, fourth day, but sixth day your mind will say that why can't I write the thing which ChatGPT is writing, right?
Yeah, you can memorize and you can...
So
you can take in the reverse view of that also.
Improve your communication skill as well as writing skills, right? That's the mode what we need to get into. Not taking help every time from ChatGPT and just pasting it and sending it.
And I think overall, we're restricting ourselves very much when we think of immersive technologies to only be ChatGPT. That's like a very, very small. LLMs are a very
Yeah.
small part. Artificial intelligence is generally anything that a machine can do for you. Much simpler, right? Calculators were in fact a similar sort of process. Computers were doing the same thing. ML is doing the same thing. Deep learning is doing the same thing. Neural networks are doing the same thing. All of these are essentially technologies that in some way or the other are immersive technologies and can actually have a very, very important impact on education.
You
in general.
you use the word in the introduction that Apple Vision Pro.
Apple Vision
how,
Pro.
How are you using it in your?
So for example, we're still not there yet. Apple
Yeah.
Vision Pro, for those of you who don't know, is basically an Apple metaverse goggle that can be utilized. So let's say, again, I'm going to take it back to management education because that's what I do. So Porter's 5 forces is something that we often talk about in management education. Porter himself is alive and he teaches sessions, right, in the US. What if I can bring Porter's class to you here? Right? What if you just wear like a metaverse goggle and you are almost sitting in the same classroom interacting with Porter and for him to be teaching you Porter's 5 forces? That is how much education can reform in the face of immersive technologies if only we accept that and if only they become accessible at a price point that's doable, right? Vision Pro right now, very expensive. Not a lot of schools can afford it.
Yes.
But
But anyways, it is there. It is there.
we're not just talking about right now. Maybe 10 years down the line, it actually becomes a technology that's very affordable. And in that manner, I think it's so brilliant. Everybody was talking about how Sir said, right, what if you can be in an organization, not just as an intern, but pretty much every day? Right? What if you can actually sit through very important decisions and board meetings and see how people interact with each other just through this Vision Pro, right? And without interrupting, without actually going through this process of internship, etc. Those are very important things, I think.
So where do you see the future of this technology? We have one presentation from Sir. We will start the presentation after this question. You can come here and from there. Okay, so you can introduce after this question and then we'll give you that time. Just so the question would be, sir, what is the future? Where do you see?
So future is again, how much you can invest on the technology, right? So a regular school versus a top school, what's the investment there? But the thing is the students are different there, right?
Yeah.
So how they can afford it? Now,
Yeah, the paying capacity of the students should also matter.
Yeah, right. So, and at the same time, Madam told that, how can we visualize sitting in a classroom, what's happening in a corporate world, in a meeting, right? But there are some challenges there, right? So the only thing what we can see is what for a student when it comes to the job, it might be corporate again, some of them might be the lecturers or the professors tomorrow, right? But what they need to pick up from the technology side, right? So now immersive is nothing but adding dimensions to your work. It might be from the education for students or for us on the corporate side. So that dimension can come in any different time.
But we have seen lesser people using Kindle for reading a book. That is the immersive technology. I think that product did pick up in India and not much of the people, very rare people, because they thought that this is going to be very, very immersive thing and everybody will be on Kindle and reading book on Kindle, I don't think so many of the people give much joy.
I see that on a day-to-day basis because my wife is a big fan of that and she reads multiple books.
Right. So
and now she is writing
out
a book
of 3
as
we got
well.
1 out of
Right,
that
so
she is using Kindle.
Yeah, right. And she is from the academic. She is a she has done a PhD in physics and she's teaching in one of the institution back in my hometown.
Yeah.
So I see Kindle, right? So we cannot say that. So how we're going to utilize the technology matters. Now for you it might be Kindle. Now we have all online books, PDF and everything. But for some people Kindle might be the good one.
Actually, to share like a contrary opinion, as per the definition of immersive technologies, Kindle is actually a static technology. It doesn't count as an immersive technology because it's a static technology where you're reading books. Your phone is immersive in nature, right? AI, etc. is immersive in nature. I think I want to touch a little bit upon the affordability aspect. I think more startups are coming out in the affordability manner. One comes to mind is this Josh Skills app, right? Which is, it's being built for Bharat. So it's being built for tier 2, tier 3 cities where the affordability and accessibility is one of the biggest criteria. According to one of the Pratham reports that recently came out, about 68% of people aged between 14 to 18 actually have access to mobile phones, whether it's their own or their parents, in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And that's a very, very huge sort of market to tap into, if only you can create products that are in the intersection of education and apps, and education and technology in some form or the other. And I think you can come up with more affordable things in the face of technology than you could have come without technology. So I think
yes, some of the technologies are also free at the moment. Open source intelligence softwares are there. Like Python is totally free. People are using it.
Internet is almost free. That's one of the biggest things. Like
cheapest
very cheap
internet
now.
in the world. Yeah, we are having that. Yeah, so we go to the presentation, sir. Go ahead. Please introduce your name and the things that you will be showing. You
First of all,
4
Dr.
minutes.
Narula. Okay. Dr. Narula, thank you for letting me present my product, and thank you for the panel for this great discussion. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to quickly show an immersive product. This product is used in Japan in over 350 schools. It's going to be in Helsinki in 186 schools. We're trying to bring it to India. And this is actually showed just like this to students in a class in Japan. 50,000 students doing this in Japan. And this is a guided inspirational session. The way it works is there's a guide, and he talks about, he basically introduced himself to teenagers. That's who we cater to. And he is building critical skills by very basic, features. Like he's asking the students, when it comes to limitation, do you want to improve it? So then you put that dot on the red side, or is it fine as it is? And it's live, so students can do this in the class. And that's basically critical thinking right there. Right? It's a very small step. And this is how we really build inspiration. We have a trigger. We have an inspirational session. This lady has agoraphobia, fear of going outside of home, but she's a photographer. She used Google Street Views to take her to be a photographer. And now she's an inspiration because she's doing this for 15 years. She has a limitation, but she's taken it over. She's not Barack Obama or Elon Musk, but she has a challenge, and she's inspirational. And we bring her to students not as a person who's been challenged, but as a person who's an inspiration. We talk about her photography, and once they're really triggered and inspired, we ask them to give us an output where in 200 words they give us, what is your weakness? So, like example, my weakness is chocolates, right? So I say, okay, my weakness is chocolates. And then how do you come over your weakness? So I try to learn about different cocoa beans and try to taste different chocolates. That's a very teenager response. This is very immersive because this is happening in the class. Now I'll show you a live session because this is my staging server that I created for India, and this is a real anonymous post. So all posts are anonymous. Teenagers are anonymously writing these posts, sharing throughout Japan in other schools. So this is one post from Kyoto prefecture in Japan which says, what is your weakness? One of my weaknesses is that I don't have much concentration. So what do you do with your weakness? I have weakness of being not able to study much. So in the end, I end up interrupting studies and do other things like washing dishes, which takes a lot of time. But I try to take advantage of this weakness and break once in a while. By doing so, I hope to prevent problems such as overwork. And these are the feedback he's received from other teenagers from other schools anonymously.
So this product is not in India at the moment.
It can be as soon as tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, but not yet.
But
You're
not
right.
yet, right.
So, that's anonymous feedback. If you read it, you'll realize one thing. That's not an adult talking. That's not a teacher talking. That's your friend saying, it's a great idea to solve the problem, right? And that's essentially an immersive technology for a student in Japan. That's one of the impacts we have. These students are more creative. They have more empathy because they talk to each other, but they don't know who they are talking to. And please don't think that this is amazing. We moderate this content. Teenagers get cheeky, right? So we do moderate it, but right. Yeah, we give them a platform to talk.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. So now we would like to have the questions from the audience. Please. Yes, sir.
I would be interested in knowing if there is any research done on the impact of immersive technologies on how it alters the brain. Because you're creating reality, brain. Does it alter brain chemicals? Does it have impact on mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there is a plethora of research that is being done in this space. A lot of research being done at early age development on how tablets and use of tablets and use of, there are now responsive cartoons basically where the kid gets to decide how to alter the thing, and they're doing a lot of research. I think brings me back to a discussion thread that you all started, which was around the fact that nobody is able to learn the long-term impact as of yet. So I'm a little apprehensive of trusting those studies because the impact, at least on children, is going to be visible maybe 10 years down the line. However, for adult education, etc., they've been doing a lot of research, and it has shown in some regard that it frees up your mind to take more critical decisions, and therefore ChatGPT or these fundamental research support systems, technologies have actually in fact helped free up the mind. So it has increased capability, it has increased creative thinking, so out of box thinking sort of goes better, and it does free up your mind, so your decision making process becomes a little faster.
Thank you. And does it confuse the person who is testing this immersive technologies between alternate reality and reality?
I don't think that I'm aware of any research in that space. I'd have to really go check on this, but so far I don't think that AR has taken that kind of a step where it has started to impact. So I think there is a very clear distinction between the reality.
So alternative or augmented? Which kind of?
Either way.
Either way.
Can I add to that?
I would like to,
Yeah.
not
After that,
ask
ma'am,
a
we have
question
the-
actually.
Sir, go ahead.
I would like to really add something to what you all, because what Dr. Nandini talks is actually maybe not true for today, but if you are thinking of education tomorrow, definitely these changes will come, whether you like it or not, like we heard yesterday. What is important is, what I have seen in the university curriculum is, we are still stuck with the old curriculum. And we are trying to teach an old curriculum which is going outdated very fast with immersive technologies. What you need is actually to change the curriculum. Now the world is going for thematic learning. So your topic-based learning has to be converted, and then AI or any technology can be worked in project modes. Effectively, if you are trying to teach the same old topics,
Yeah. Sir, I think in the presence of camaraderie, I want to throw back a question at you and further deep delve into this. The curriculum is not wrong, the methods and the pedagogy is wrong, right? At the end of the day, marketing 101 needs to lead you to create a GTM strategy. That has been the case right now. That was the case 15 years ago when internet came. That was the case 30 years ago when there was no internet. You have to be able to create a go-to-market strategy. That is the goal of a marketing 101. Kotler has been talking about it for years now.
Dr. Nandini, most of the outcomes-based learning still in the old framework may be new to us today, but actually this has happened. Education is always behind technology. Technology advances faster and education is always outdated because we cannot move that fast. But we have to learn to move it fast.
We'll add the dimensions of, sir. We are running short of time. They have given us the timeline now.
Can I add something? Can I add something quickly? I will add something quickly because it will answer everybody's questions
Go
here.
ahead.
So I have been working in the field of AI and VR for 20 years now. Previously in German Aerospace Center, now I'm a professor in this. And I can tell you the first question, which was about mental health, there has been research. There has already been research by psychologists because this technology was popular among two primary users were there. First was this simulators, flight simulators in Navy. and army. And the second one was psychologist. And psychologists have already learned a lot about its impact. And this is one of the discussions as well with the advent of metaverses as well, that how are you going to protect the citizens within metaverse, and this includes the students, and this should be a discussion among all the academics as well. Imagine, I'm just going to give one situation. Imagine that you are in metaverse, right, and you have this ability to have avatars. You have a student who is much more healthier, has low self-esteem about her body. She chooses to have an avatar which is absolutely whatever is considered the most beautiful avatar in this current era, what is accepted by the society. And she always uses that. Do you think this is healthy? No, it's not healthy. So how are we going to regulate that? How are we going to help them? So these are some of these aspects as well. And for entrepreneurship as well, I think there's one thing that I will just say, advise, in fact, that bring researchers on board whenever you are, thinking about even using it, because researchers have the real knowledge at the moment.
Right, we got it. Thank you. This is a good question, that if she is on a delusional path, she is using somebody else's personality and she's like that. Thank you. We will add in that. Just a second. Sir has to add to it. We'll get back to you. Sir.
Yeah, just one thing for what Sir told, right? So education is beyond technology, right? So I'll give a best example. Now, when I did my engineering, right, I did computer science. But now, if I see computer science has got multiple underlying branches, AI, IoT, ML, right? Why? Why only not computer science, right? So that's how, right? If education cannot be with the technology, at least they have to work hands on hands. So if technology is going somewhere, education has to follow, because that's the future.
Even in the social sciences, there is a lot of softwares. We were in social sciences that we didn't want to use softwares, but now softwares are behind us. SPSS, Smart PLS, R, and NVivo 14, Mendeley, EndNote, Zetaro, Atlas.ti. There are 14, 15 software which we are using in social sciences, which we never wanted. That is why we opted for social sciences, but the softwares are just behind me. So that is there. So we have to learn it. So yeah, quickly, 1 minute, and then to Sir.
Go Tushar, please.
Quickly.
It's not a question. I just want you all to observe there are two students, 6 and 7 and your daughter is 7 and
7, yeah, she's 7.
And 11, right?
Son is 11, yeah.
And they are immersed. She's drawing for last half an hour. Now she's using technology to inspire herself to see something and then draw it.
And this is the first time she's drawing because there is no phone with her.
Because nobody put color pencils here. I gave her a color pen with 3 colors. So that's immersion, and that is technology being used for immersion. So if you can get that part in learners and observe learners, I think that's way more important.
I think on the final note, because we are short on time, sorry, Mr.
Just
Sadek,
extend it for 2 more minutes.
I want to really want to drill down on the point that was made by ma'am here. I think that's a very, very important and a very valid point. Sadly, we don't even observe that in a real classroom. Like in real classroom, we don't really look at our students as an individual, and we don't think about what they are going through mentally, which we should. We should be more involved as faculties. We should be more involved. There are a lot of sort of reasons for why we can't be smaller classrooms, more time coverage, etc. Don't want to delve into that, but that's a really, really valid point. And at the pace at which AI is growing, it definitely needs psychologists, it definitely needs behavioral scientists, it definitely needs people who understand this better, so that we build products and we build technologies that are actually very, very inclusive. Thank you for bringing that point. I think this was not covered.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
I think that's the point that relates to the mental health issue that we talked about. I think it's basically for everything that we do, whether it is immersive technology, alternate reality, or true reality that we live. As we said, the guided part or assisted part is very important at the start of anything, right? I mean, basically you have a knife, you could kill somebody or you could use it for cooking. For anything that requires a tool, it has to be guided. Now the questions of morality, ethics, mental health, if they accompany any tool, whether it is reality or there's an immersive, alternate reality, I think it will play out well. If not guided, yes, it could become a devil.
Right. Thank you. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah. Just one last point I'd like to make from, if you like, a Videshi's perspective. Being an educationist for more than 30 years and living in this country for 25 of those, isn't it true that every tool we use from a pencil onwards is technology? So even at the most basic level, it's up to us, it's incumbent on us as educationists to understand the use of tools, the use of technology, whether it's what we call early technology like a pencil or a stick, or a mobile phone, or other forms of technology which we refer to as artificial intelligence. All of these, as educationists, we should be encouraging our students to embrace these as tools, not toys, as tools. So utilize them smartly and still keep reminding ourselves that we ourselves must stay in touch with the use of the different tools available to us, whether it's a pencil or whether it's anything of a higher standard in electronics.
Right.
That's all I wish to say. Thank you.
Right, thank you, thank you. And that's the main part of our discussion, that the students should also be, the kids should also be given different tools and then the softwares. Yes, any last question, yeah, go ahead, ma'am. The mic will come to you.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I'm Dr. Charu, I'm Dean at Alam University. So my question is about that video. So my question is that are we trying to solve the problem, or are we trying to strengthen their mindset regarding the problem that exists without providing any solution? So just to add to the continuance of this, if a student is posting something and there are 100 other influx of messages that yes bro, you're right, even I can't study, math sucks, and all these kind of things, so are we just strengthening there and providing them sympathy? Because a 12-year-old cannot give solution to a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So how does that help?
So you want the answer from the person who has shown the video or from the panelist? So
what is your perspective about it?
I'm not very keen for these kind of things, but yes, if it is coming up, we have to see whether they are usable or not, and then, ma'am, and sorry.
Okay, so in case you have a perspective.
Yes.
I do have a perspective, but I'm not sure. Tushar would be the better person to answer this. Tushar, this was in the demo that we saw.
So they said that, ma'am.
So I think I got that. I think a very valid point that she makes, wherein she's saying that a 12-year-old cannot give a solution to another 12-year-old. So are we really just looking for camaraderie building here? Are we just looking for support here? Or is it that we are focused on looking at all of this data and then maybe recommending solutions to maybe, let's say, if there are important health or mental health problems that
would make their thought more rigid in terms of that, yes, 100 more students out there feel the same as I feel. So then, how is it a solution? Yes, if it is not influenced by 100 others. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Why is your perception correct?
It's not a perception, I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
it's an
I'm saying-
experience.
It's an experience.
Why are you trying to tell a 12-year-old, and why do you think it's correct?
See, what the video showed, that a 12-year-old raised an issue that I have a lack of concentration.
Yes.
Yes, and so what kind of, are we giving a solution by using that model? So how is it a solution? That's what my question is.
Technical model.
Okay, so solution, the thing is we allow students, that's a 40-minute session by the way, I only gave it in 3.
Okay.
So before that, before they write down, for 20 minutes, there is a trigger, right, inspirational trigger, which is navigated, and Miss Jackie Kenny comes in and she talks about how I'm a photographer, right? She doesn't talk about that she's agoraphobic for the first 10 minutes. We have a lot of discussion, a lot of votes, and the last 10 to 15 minutes she talks about when in her teens she really had fits, right, and she had agoraphobia. And it's really after 10 minutes of working with the teenagers, guiding them, that we bring up this issue. And after 15 minutes, we ask them to write an output, right? These outputs are moderated outputs. Some teens just write A for 200 words. We get that. We don't remove it, we moderate it, we don't share it with other students.
Right, right. So again, time is up. Ma'am, you can connect with her. We are here for lunch also. Thank you, thank you. Yes.
I think just wanted to give a more academic perspective to this. The psychologist one of the most influential ones in the world, Alberta Bertura, called this thing as something called vicarious mastery, wherein when you are aligning yourself with people who are going through similar experiences, specifically people who are most similar to you in terms of age, gender, location, etc., you tend to build self-confidence better. So self-efficacy increases, and maybe that's precisely what they are trying to build, just using technology instead of a group therapy session per se.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's nice. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this panel discussion.